Hi, I'm Chad Bailey and I'm here at Ernest Records. Uh, I consider myself to be a very inventive person when it comes to like my artistry. I like to explore different sounds and take from like different like inspiration from different artists, like different genres. Yeah, that's who I am. Music is like an escape for me. So like growing up, I had in this like it's crazy, but I had like a very like growing up in Jamaica. It's like a rough childhood. Like you had to be tough and like gritty and like all that stuff. And so like there's a lot of times like like where I didn't feel like included or like I felt like different from the crowd. So I would make music. I know I started like making music like as an escape to like from all that like the chaos that was happening like outside, in my childhood. And I find that like it helps. It was like therapeutic, like it made me feel better. And I see this with a lot of artists too, where they're like, oh, I don't have a big budget. I don't have this. I don't have that. And I'm like, just get it out there. Just, if you have a song recorded, just put it out. Don't wait for the right time. Don't just put start the process, just putting everything out. And like, you never know what's going to happen. But I see this a lot with like small artists where they're like, oh my god, I gotta wait till like everything is perfect and like I have this amount of money or like this, and it's like no one starts out like with $1 million and say I'm gonna put $1 million behind this my first music video. Like no, like you start from and you build. So that's my advice to other, if you're sitting on a track that you feel like is good, but you're like, I'm waiting for the right time, just put it out there. Yeah. Don't wait. 5 years, I could see my music definitely entry like an entry on Billboard Hot 100 for sure. Yeah, and just like, making waves, creating waves, some awards, maybe American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards. I want to say Grammys, but it's like so big. I don't know. Like, but I would love to. I would say a Grammy as well would be great. My biggest music influences. So I would say number one, Bob Marley, and like I sound nothing like him in my music, but he inspires me because his writing style, it's so like poetic and very it's just it lets you like think deep, and I love music like that, especially reggae music, and growing up in Jamaica and hearing like all these songs from him, and as a kid you're like, oh my god, like this is dope, like this is so deep, and like reggae music, I've never really come across a reggae artist like Bob Marley that's like just so poetic with his like writing style, and his vocals are just like out of this world as well, and he's a rock star on stage. So I try my best to like emulate that. I'm not Bob Marley, but like I try, and he's just a great inspiration and like someone that I look up to as an artist. Another person I would say like Rihanna, because she's from the islands and she kind of like paved that way, and like after Bob Marley, to show that like you could come from like this small dot on the map, but like you could create such a big impact across the world. And I hope one day I could do the same, even if it's not as big as her. Maybe half of that would be great, but she inspire me as well. And like I listen to her a lot. I love her music, and I also, some of my vocal styling comes from her, like a few here and there, not all of it, but some of it I take from her. So yeah, I'll say those two people are like my biggest inspirations right now. My favorite song to perform is a song called Keep Going. I wrote it like maybe like 5 years ago. And it's a very like inspirational, like like positive, like uplifting song. So like whenever I'm having a bad day or whatever, I also listen to it as well, and it kind of like makes me feel better. It's just like you listen to it, and it just like inspire you to just keep going. And I've heard it like from other people too that like tell me like, oh, I've listened to Keep Going and it really like helped me, you know. Some of them told me I was in a dark place and I listened to it and it helped me, so thank you. So I really like to perform that song a lot because it's very I would say everyone can relate to it, and it doesn't matter what demographic I'm performing it for, it's gonna be received well because the message is so like, relatable.
What's your favorite lyric?
I would say because it has the Caribbean flavor to it, but then it has R&B elements, and then there's also some pop as well, and there's also, it's not just the reggae, but it's also reggae slash dancehall slash R&B slash pop, and then I take like different like vocal styles from different artists. So it's a very unique sound. A lot of times it's hard to like place my music in a category because it's like so unique and different. But because like reggae is like the foundation that I build it off of, I always consider it like reggae always. But there's a lot of different sounds that gets incorporated into it. Yes, new music will be coming soon for sure. And yeah, look forward to that. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be my first big drop in about a year. Yeah, the last time I dropped a song was like a year ago. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to share this with the world. It's reggae, but it's very different from my last single, a different kind of sound. You'll hear today. Yeah, it's like, it's reggae, but it's very more on the pop side.
Well, we're super excited to hear you more.
Yeah. I'm excited to share it with the world, like, for the first time, like, live.
You still up?